Okay, this video is going to focus on finding different probabilities, and they're really going to help you with trying to distinguish between independent and dependent events. So for this first one, we are flipping a coin twice. It says, what's the probability of getting tails and then getting heads? When you see and, that's when you want to multiply the two different probabilities. So the chances of getting tails will be 1 out of 2 because there's only 2 options for the coin and there's only 1 tail available. Same thing with heads, 1 out of 2. And because it was an and, we will multiply those fractions. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4. So the answer is 1/4. They do want fractions here, so no decimals. Okay, this next one. You pick up a card at random. Without putting the first card back, you pick a second card. So we are not putting that first card back. What is the probability of picking an even number and then picking an even number? Well, for the first try, there's going to be 4 cards to choose from. There are 2 even cards. So there's a 2 out of 4 chance of getting an even number on the first try. Well, the second try, we're going to multiply that probability. Suppose I have picked an even number, an even card, and I've kept it. Let's suppose I got the 4. Well, there's only 1 even left now, and there are 3 cards left to choose from. So that one's going to be 2 times 1 is 2, 4 times 3 is 12, and then don't forget to simplify. 2 over 12 simplifies to 1 over 6 because they're both divisible by 2. Okay, let's look at this next one. You spin the spinner twice. What is the probability of landing on a number less than 4 and then landing on a number less than 5? Okay, the chances of landing on a number less than 4 are these two. It's 2 numbers out of 4. You could even say a half. Well, on the next spin, all the numbers are still there, obviously. A number less than 5, well, there's 3 of them. Okay, so 2 times 3 is 6, 4 times 4 is 16. Divide that by 2, 3/8. Now, I would have never done it that way. I would have went ahead and said 1/2 of 3/4 and multiplied it that way. If you start with the simpler version of a fraction, you won't have to simplify at the end. So 3/8. Okay, let's check out this next one. You roll a 6-sided die 2 times. What's the probability of rolling a number less than 4 and then rolling a number less than 6? So the numbers on a die are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, obviously. Probability of rolling a number less than 4. Less than 4 looks like it's 1, 2, 3. So it's half. 3 out of 6 is a half. Then I'm going to multiply that by, let's make that look a little better, a number less than 6. Well, 5 of them are less than 6. So that's going to be 5 out of 6. Okay, so 1 times 5, 2 times 6. So that won't simplify, we get 5/12. Okay, you pick a card at random. Without putting the first card back, you pick a second card. So this is just like when we did a second ago. Probability of picking a 4 and then an even number. Okay, so there's 4 cards here. So on my first try, I will have 4 to choose from. On my second try, there will only be 3 to choose from because I'm not putting the first card back. Well, the probability of picking a 4, how many 4s are here? There's 1. We're not going to put the card back. So what we have to do there is say, okay, I got the 4. You assume you got the 4 when you do the probability. And then picking an even number. How many even numbers are left to choose from here? Well, there's 2, 3, and 5. 2 is the only even number. Okay? So I'm going to say 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 3 is 12. And then they're both even, so I'm going to divide them by 2 to simplify it. So that would give me a 1 and a 6. 1 over 6. Uh-oh. 1 out of 12. Oh, because I did not, let's see what I did just then. I did 1 out of 4, and then 1 out of 3. Oh, 1 out of 4 and 1 out of 3. Okay, got it. All right, let's do one just like that. You pick a card at random without putting the first card back. You pick a second card. What is the probability of picking a 4 and then an odd number? There's our 4. So there's 1 out of 3 chance of getting a 4. Well, after I get that, there's only 2 cards left. And the odds of picking an odd number, well, there's only 1 odd number. So we get 1 times 1, 3 times 2, 1 out of 6. There we go. Now I'm back on track. You spin the spinner twice. What is the probability of landing on a divisor of 80? That means something that divides into 80 and then landing on an even number. Okay, will 5 go into 80? Yes. Will 4 go into 80? Yes. Will 3? No. So there's a 2 out of 3 chance for the first event, and then the second event's an even number. And there's only 1 even number. And this bottom number is going to be 3, because when you spin a spinner, all 3 options are still going to be there. So 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 3 is 9. So sometimes that second fraction bottom number changes, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the context of the situation, and you've got to use a little common sense there. Okay, well, I don't think it's going to get any harder. If you run into trouble, just let me know, and we will meet.